From promoting bad parenting to having badly written characters, some NCIS crossover episodes have received some pretty bad feedback from fans. Episodes such as NCIS New Orleans Rockabye Baby.
Casey's idiot boyfriend spent the last 2 nights in a drunk tank. All right, so we start over.
It's really bad for a show when the episodes in the first season are rated bad by fans, but it's also something inevitable. With all these episodes that I talk about in this video, I'm only going to mention what fans thought of the episode and if I agree or not. With the review on this episode, I don't think a lot of you will agree with most what I say.
Looks like the last few years she's been working at multiple European biomedical firms, all of whom...
Or there's ways you can explain the character's behavior. In the episode, we see a naval commander whose car is stolen. But the thing is, the commander's baby was still inside the car when it got stolen. You see, the man was taking out groceries from his car into his house with his baby in the car.
Just going to drop off the ice cream so it doesn't melt on us, okay? I'll be back. Touche.
But when he makes another trip to bring the rest of the groceries in, he finds out that the car has been stolen. This is when he calls Pride and his team to rescue the baby.
Special Agent Pride. He's in charge. This is my husband.
Martin Hart. So what do you know about where Lulu is?
The episode goes on to reveal even more drama, but I'm not going to spoil it all for you. I think that this episode just showed the best example of the worst parent. I mean, there was no reason why the commander couldn't take the baby in first and then take care about the groceries. But also, I agree that if you're a parent, you'd know that sometimes when you're busy, you don't really have your guard up that way, and you sometimes don't stay that cautious. Another thing that was weird about this episode is how it was stupid of the commander to leave his keys in the doors he left, and how those two things made this a bad episode, just like the next one in this video. NCIS Los Angeles Identity, 2009.
This inside window just exploded.
Yeah, but that's not a surprise. Lots of incoming from the LAPD.
Tighter, Eric.
Okay, so this one episode faced some pretty harsh criticism from more than just one fan. And honestly, it's a little hard to justify why the episode was so bad. There's honestly no way around it. It just had some pretty obvious flaws, and fans were not going to let them pass by. I mean, I could make a whole list of all things bad about this episode. Not just about this one episode, but the whole sequel itself. I mean, you have to make a fan pretty bitter to make them dedicated enough to leaving a bad review.
What if your race car body, what if it lives forever, but your brain dies? I mean, what do you do then?
But it comes from a place of love, I promise. So, why was this so bad? Well, we might as well just watch CSI New York. I know that feels like betrayal, but honestly, we all just need good entertainment, from one show or another. I mean, as someone who has watched all the seasons of NCIS and has loved each and every one of them,
Partner called T. It's really convenient. Could be anyone.
I decided to give NCIS Los Angeles a try too. Well, this didn't bring me, and I'm pretty sure most of you, the joy we had expected. And so I'm going to compare the two series. First reason being that NCIS had some distinct and lovable characters that felt organic and human.
Recognizes our guy.
Mickey, what is wrong with you? You look 3 cans short of a 6-pack.
They were relatable, and although the series is fiction, the people still felt like people you'd know in real life. NCIS Los Angeles, on the other hand, according to this fan, is just full of plastic people who aren't really relatable.
Got to the money, switched it to another account.
Then he got nervous that Donnelly might find out, so he hired Tommy Boy to keep an eye on him. But in the end, it was Joey Gale.
This just means that they're badly written characters, one thing that can really end a series. I also have a bunch of other reasons why the show, and this episode in specific, and as far as I know, a lot of people had similar opinions. Here's what else is wrong with this episode. Okay, so we all know that some episodes on the last season of NCIS were much better than the premiere of this series.
They don't want him to see where they're taking him, so they tie his hands so he's not tempted to lift the hood and peek.
It's common practice in the Middle East.
I mean, the premiere just lacked pretty much everything that a good premiere needs to build hype. It wasn't enough to engage a wide audience, and it didn't really excite existing fans all that much either. So, not only did they lose the fans that they had, they also failed to build new ones. Just like I said earlier in the video, the whole series just felt fake and the characters didn't feel natural.
More specifically, Jason Tedrow received an email.
Who's Jason Tedrow?
The biggest reason why people fall in love with series is because they fall in love with the characters. And the only way to do that is by making the characters feel as human and natural as possible.
Yeah, sometimes I'm too perceptive for my own good. It can be both a a blessing and a curse.
Unfortunately, the premiere of the series failed to do this, which is why it received so much negative feedback. But I won't be all harsh and negative. I still have good hopes from the show because the people behind creating it are the same people who created a show that we all love dearly. So maybe there's something bigger in store for us, and we just need to be patient and wait for the story to unfold and the characters to develop more naturally. But that doesn't mean that this episode wasn't a bad one, especially when you compare it to some of the other episodes from the franchise that are simply amazing, unlike this next episode. NCIS Naval Criminal Investigative Service Pandora's Box Part 1, 2017.
This ain't a dream. When the bomb squad removed the third explosive, they found C4 hidden inside.
What about the balloon?
Yet another episode that made us question if we should even watch it or not. But honestly, what's a good show without a bunch of bad reviews? Am I right? I'm not even going to hold back when I tell you how I feel about this episode. I mean, I literally didn't even finish the episode because it was that bad, and I bet a lot of you can relate to me on this.
Ordered to do it.
I need to make a phone call.
Can you take off my handcuffs?
But you must be asking, what was so bad about this episode that I couldn't bear to watch any more of it and decided it was better to just turn the screen off? That's one harsh review. Well, I'm gonna tell you all the reason behind this distaste that I felt because of this episode that made me not want to continue. I just hate episodes that start on one show, but the second part of it is on the other show. And honestly, I bet a lot of you would agree with this. The reason why franchises do this is to engage fans and increase traffic on all the sequels. But sometimes it just ends up making fans not want to watch either of the shows, so it's a loss in the end.
Every agency in D.C. wants in.
I just got through hand-holding the FBI in the Javier Garcia case.
I'm going to be completely honest. I actually found the episode nice. It wasn't bad on its own. It's well written and everything flows right. But since I, like many other fans, was watching this episode on Netflix, where the second part of the episode wasn't available to watch, it just made me not want to continue watching the first part either. I hope y'all get it. What's the point of watching one part of an episode if you can't watch the other? All it's going to do is make you restless and want to know what happens next when you can't watch the second part. Some people also didn't like the episode, but for other reasons.
Figured after all you've been through, you deserve a break.
Well, now we can all go.
Here's another reason why people didn't like this episode. Okay, so I just didn't like the episode because the second part was on another show, but I admitted that the episode itself was pretty fun to watch. Well, some other fans of the show would completely disagree with that. According to them, the episode is just plain bad. These are some of the fans that have been loyal fans of the franchise for a while, but now it seems like the show is losing its own plot, and that's costing it its loyal fans. It feels like the franchise is just running out of ideas at this point, and the new members of the team aren't good enough. Ouch, that's one harsh thing to say about the crew, right? And that was all about some of the worst NCIS crossover episodes.
Night, G.